Hey, what's up guys? It's Corey here with Dapper Dollars, and today we're going to talk about whether or not Vuzix is entering overvalued territory and if they're in a bubble situation and it's time to sell, or if they are just still on the road to success. You ready? Let's get started. So, this channel is all about using the online income opportunities like merch by Amazon and Etsy to build our income online and then invest this income in things like the stock market and real estate so that we can build financial freedom for ourselves and our families. If that sounds like something you're interested in, like and subscribe, and let's get started. So, Vuzix has been on a massive tear for the last 6 months. It has been insane to watch this stock. They have gone from around $4 a share to close to, if not over, $30 a share last week on Thursday or Friday. So, this is a pretty big deal. I mean, you're talking about multiple, what is that, almost 700% jump, if not more, over the last 6 months. That is insane. And if you have been following the channel, you know that I've been in on those gains, and many of you have also been in on these games. But is it time to get out? Is 700% return on our money too much? Is that getting greedy at this point? Are we just wasting our time and setting ourselves up for inevitable failure in the future? Or is it going to the moon, the proverbial moon that everybody wants to go to? Well, let's talk about it, because there are definitely a few situations where it could go either way, but let's talk about the main case for Vuzix and if it's actually time to sell. And what determines that is what the market for Vuzix is going to be in the future, because if they have already sold to most of their market, then that means that yes, Vuzix is done and it is time for you to sell. However, we can see from reports that have come out in 2019 and 2020 that Vuzix is likely entering a $305 billion market in the future. Now that is a $305 billion virtual reality and augmented reality market. So this includes everything from heads-up displays in cars to head-mounted displays like Vuzix, and virtual reality like Samsung and the Oculus from Facebook. These are all very different things and they work in very different verticals. So let's talk about where Vuzix fits into all this and if their market is basically depleted or if they still have somewhat of a runway to go. Right now, Vuzix is in the head-mounted display market for augmented reality, and this market makes up around over 60% of the market that is encompassed in this $305 billion. So let's say half of that belongs to Vuzix. That is around a $90 billion market. And if we go half of that, we are looking at a $45 billion market. So this is essentially where Vuzix is right now. They are sitting at a $2 billion market cap as a company as a whole. This is, in my opinion, a fair value for Vuzix right now based on everything that they're doing. They are approaching a $45 billion market with basically 7 months to 6 months worth of experience. And they are in a situation right now where we're just waiting to see about the widespread acceptance of Vuzix and whether or not they're going to take off or if this is just going to be as big as they get. But we do understand that they are standing on the precipice of something massive. And if Paul is able to maximize on the recent share, not buybacks, but the, I don't know, whatever it's called, where he issues the issuance of common shares so that they could raise money. And this was done a few weeks ago where they basically diluted the stock price so that they can raise additional money, and I think they raised over $90 million for the company. So this is a great start for Vuzix. This means that they have money for research and development, product production, and the marketing of their products in the future. And this is great news for Vuzix. It means that they are taking the right steps to actually get stuff done and take over this potential $45 billion market in the future. So this is all great for Vuzix because we know that they are in multiple verticals of this head-mounted display market. They are in the medical vertical. That is one of their strongest verticals, and they are dominating it successfully. They have had multiple follow-on orders from different countries for different products, and they are just doing an amazing job at providing an amazing amount of value for anywhere from medical students to doctors in America, to doctors all over the world who need help doing these operations that usually require a large level of experience. But with these M400 glasses, the doctors are able to communicate with each other, see what each other are doing, and successfully execute surgeries that would likely have not been possible before. So the medical advancement through Vuzix is going great. The enterprise vertical that Vuzix is addressing, the business to business, where people are either in a mine shaft needing to discover what is down there without having to send a person where it is potentially safe. They can fly a drone and use the Vuzix M400 or the Vuzix Blade to see what the drone is seeing and control the flight from there. Or they can put the glasses on someone who works in a warehouse, and the person in a warehouse is able to get digital instructions on a heads-up display on their M400 glasses and work that way, which is much more effective because you don't have to rely on someone memorizing what you've told them or knowing where something is or forgetting where stuff is in the warehouse. Instead, it is basically on their face, so they can't miss it. And obviously it makes training easier because you're not having to spend time training someone on the layout of a warehouse. You're not having to spend time on the production source and things like that. You get instructions as well as direction on your heads-up display. So the enterprise space is also looking great for Vuzix. And these things together mean that Vuzix, along with their raising of these $97 million, is going in the right direction, and we seem to be on track for at least a $5 to $10 billion market cap within the next year to 2 years. So they are doing great, but it is alarming to see this steep incline because it is a massive amount of traction that they have gotten in the last 6 months. Whenever you're an investor in stocks like these, it is definitely alarming to see it go up so sharply, and it makes you think that it could drop at any moment. And honestly, it could. I don't think it could drop very far. I think the farthest we would see this stock drop, even in a drastic situation, would be maybe to the teens again. And honestly, I'll be buying up there. But anyway, right now we know that they are doing great. They're going after the right verticals, and they are in the great cash position to actually be able to fund the research and development of products in the future. Now, there is also the issue of competition because they are not the only ones playing in this space. There are many other people who see the potential market in the future. And those people are Microsoft, Apple, and Samsung. Samsung is definitely one of those kind of outliers, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First of all, Microsoft. Microsoft has come out with the HoloLens, and if you've seen this thing before, it's pretty weird. It's definitely weirder than Vuzix. It is basically a strap attached to the back of your head and a lens that can flip up or down, and then you have the augmented reality that Vuzix has on the HoloLens itself. And they are doing successful things with the HoloLens. They have them in doctor's offices, they have them in mechanic shops, and it is definitely a great tool for people. However, the reality of the bulkiness of this product makes it not so desirable for people who have used it in the past. It is not as handy as having the M400, which is basically just an eye patch that goes over your eye, or the M4000, which has a lens that is see-through like the HoloLens over one eye. And then Vuzix also has the Vuzix Blade, which is their somewhat commercial product, and this one is basically like essentially a pair of glasses that you can wear that have all of the same capabilities. But the HoloLens for Microsoft is one of their biggest competitors because it is playing in all of the spaces that Vuzix is playing in, except it is just physically different. It is physically bulky. It is not as easy to use as the M400. So for that reason, I do think that Vuzix is eventually going to win this war. They are not going to be able to let their guard down though, because Microsoft has many more resources at their disposal to actually go after this market hard if they wanted to, if not buy Vuzix out, along with Apple. So, well, Microsoft isn't going to buy Apple out, but Apple could buy Vuzix out if they wanted to in the future. So, let's also talk about the fact that Samsung is playing in this space, but they are going more towards virtual reality. Samsung is definitely looking at the gaming space and seeing that as the augmented reality, virtual reality play. And they're essentially not really going to be much of a bother, if at all, to Vuzix. But again, if Vuzix drops the ball or a lot of bad things come out about Vuzix, then that could definitely hurt Vuzix as well. And then there is Apple. Apple is the main competitor for almost everyone in the technology space. They're coming out with cars to battle with Tesla. They're coming out with, a lot of other technological advances that are rivaling anyone in the technology space. So it makes sense that they have a wearable product like the Apple Glass that is going to come out in the future that would complement the watch that they have, as well as the phone and every other piece of Apple equipment. However, we have seen delay after delay after delay for the Apple Glass. So it makes sense that we are not really going to see Apple Glass in the near future, which is great because this is Vuzix's chance to incorporate the Vuzix Blade into society, because the Vuzix Blade, like we said, is the commercial version of what they're wanting to give to people. The people who actually wear these on a day-to-day basis and maybe aren't doctors and people aren't needing to fly drones into mine shafts. They're just people who might want to wear these glasses while they drive their car, and they can connect to their car and they can see everything about their car on their glasses. They can see their speed, they can see directions, they can see what's on the radio and things like that, and adjust it here instead of having to look down at something. Or, there are augmented reality displays on cars now. My dad drives a BMW, and he has the augmented reality display that comes up on the windshield, so like a heads-up display. But this would be wearable tech that you would have, so basically sunglasses that have your augmented reality display on them as well. So these would be great to compete with Apple, and honestly, the longer that Apple delays to getting these Apple Glass out, it is going to be more of a chance for Vuzix to solidify themselves in the augmented reality space. However, we know that Apple are diehard fans. I myself am an Apple fan. Honestly, if I got a pair of Vuzix Blades and then Apple Glass came out the next week, I would probably get a pair of Apple Glass because that's just how it is. Apple dominates the consumer space, and they are not going to play games. They're going to come in and essentially, if you're not playing with Apple, then you're going, or if you're not a part of Apple's team, then you're going to get dominated. Likely we would see Samsung or Microsoft try to private label Vuzix's glasses to compete with Apple Glass in the future, and that would be a great thing for Vuzix because they would hopefully be able to not be bought out, but instead provide a supply to Microsoft and Samsung in the future. So these are great things for Vuzix, and this means that Vuzix likely has a long road ahead of it to potentially reach $5 to $10 billion in a market cap by the end of the year or the next 2 years. So I don't think that Vuzix is going to crash anytime soon. I do think it is pretty inflated right now. Around $2 billion in a market cap for Vuzix is fair. It's definitely fair for where they're at right now. I'm personally not going to be buying anymore. I think my price that I paid averaged out over all the times that I've bought in is around $10. So I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with a price target of or a price average cost of $10. And then we'll just see where this stock goes in the future. I am definitely betting long on Vuzix. It is going to be a 5-year at least hold for me. And that's what Kathy Wood said. Whenever she bought into Vuzix, she said that it was a 5-year play for sure, and that they don't really buy into companies that they aren't committed to for at least 5 years. So that's great news. And anyway, that's my summation of if Vuzix is in a bubble territory. I think it's fair. I think it's fair, like I said, and I think that it is going to go higher in the future. I don't know exactly how high or when, but anyway, all of this is great news. Vuzix is doing great. It seems to have a great road ahead of it. And anyway, if you like this, leave a like and a comment below. I hope you guys have a great week, and remember, someone is going to do something amazing every day, guys. Why not you? See ya.